Welcome to the Explainer. Today we're going to talk about that one little word, that single word that absolutely kills most of your online sales conversations. And, more importantly, how you can flip it into your most powerful closing tool. All right, let's just jump right in, because I know you've been here. We all have, right? A potential customer, they slide into your DMs, you have a quick chat, they ask for the price, you tell them, and then poof, they're gone. Absolute radio silence. It's like they just vanished into thin air. Yeah, that one word, price, it can feel like a total trap, can it? So often, it signals the beginning of the end, not the beginning of a sale. And look, in the world of social commerce, where so much business goes down in the chat, this is a huge, huge roadblock. But what if I told you there's a much better way? In this explainer, we're going to walk through a 5-step framework that turns this exact moment from a dead end into a done deal. First, we'll tackle the price and ghost problem. Then, we'll get into the mindset flip you need to make. After that, we'll learn how to uncover the real story. I'll give you the 3 magic questions you're going to love. And finally, we'll talk about your new role, being a doctor, not just a vendor. Okay, first things first. We have got to figure out why this whole price and ghosting thing even happens. And trust me, what most sellers think is the reason, well, it's completely wrong. You know how it is. The second that customer goes quiet, our brain just spirals, right? We immediately think, oh, my price must be too high, or shoot, I've got to lower my prices to compete. We jump straight to these common misconceptions. But that is a really dangerous trap. It just leads to a race to the bottom, it kills your profits, and most importantly, it doesn't actually solve the real problem. And this is where it gets really important. This is the crucial point. We need a complete, fundamental shift in how we approach that first message. It's not about giving an answer anymore. It's about starting a diagnosis. Now, check this out, because this is the big insight. Customers are messaging you because they're uncertain. I mean, think about it. If they knew exactly what they wanted, they just go online and click buy now, right? The very fact that they're in your chat talking to you, that's a huge clue that they need help. They're not ghosting you because of the price. They're ghosting you because you haven't helped them feel certain that your product is the right solution for their problem. So here's the difference, plain and simple. The old way, you're basically a vending machine. They put in a question, you spit out a price. But the new way, now you're a consultant. They ask a question, and you use that as an opportunity to ask your own questions, to really dig in and understand what they actually need. Okay, so that all sounds great in theory, right? But how do we actually do it? Well, that brings us to our next section, uncovering the real story with something called the behind-the-scenes technique. So your job completely changes here. It is no longer about giving information, it's about gathering it. You need to switch hats, Put on your detective hat. Your new mission is to ask smart questions to understand the context, the real motivation, and the true problem that's driving them to you in the first place. And here's the best part, seriously. This whole process, which might sound kind of complex, really just boils down to 3 simple, they're like magic, 3 powerful questions that are going to be your new secret weapon. All right, these are your 3 magic questions. Let's let them sink in. First, what for? This is where you figure out their main goal, what they're trying to do. Second, why? This is the deep dive. You're uncovering their pain point, the real reason they're looking now. And third, you just listen. You listen for that key point, that little emotional trigger that tells you everything. So, for example, let's say someone asks for the price of a new laptop. Instead of giving the price, you ask, hey, what are you going to be using it for mainly? That's your what for. Then you can follow up with something like, got it, just curious, what's making you upgrade now? Is your old one causing some headaches? And boom, that's your why. Their answer, oh, it's just too slow for my video editing and I have a deadline. Well, that reveals the real problem you need to solve. And that last little bit they give you, the deadline, that, my friends, is the key point. It's the emotional gold. It's what really, truly matters to them. And once you have that, you've got your closing tool. You can now say, if you're on a tight deadline, this model here is our fastest, and we can get it shipped out to you today. See, you're not selling a computer anymore. You're selling a solution to their deadline stress. So to bring this all home, let's lock it in with one incredibly powerful analogy that is going to change the way you sell forever. Seriously, think about it. Would you trust a doctor who just hands you a bottle of pills the second you walk in without asking a single question about what's wrong? No way. So why on earth are we doing that as sellers? We're just handing out prescriptions, our products, without diagnosing the problem first. So from now on, your new title is Sales Doctor. You are the expert in the room. Your job is to calmly, confidently ask questions, diagnose the real problem, and only then do you prescribe the perfect solution. This builds a massive amount of trust and authority. And when you start thinking this way, everything changes. I'm telling you, you stop competing on price because now you're competing on expertise. The customer feels heard, they feel understood, so they trust you more. You immediately stand out from every other competitor who just throws a price at them. And because you've uncovered that true why, you close way more sales and usually at better margins too. So the next time that little message, price, hits your inbox, you've got a choice to make, right? Are you going to be a vending machine and just spit out a number and cross your fingers? Or are you going to put on that doctor's coat, start asking the right questions, and actually prescribe a solution they'll be happy to pay for? The choice is all yours.